Hitler, devastated by the loss of Germany in the First World War, sought to never see Germany surrender again. The Treaty of Versailles punished Germany by forcing Germans to pay reparations for the war and to accept responsibility for starting it. The German economy has crippled due to reparations until American Baker introduced the Dust Plan, stabilizing the German economy by granting the Germans a $200 million loan. With the economy stabilized, the golden age of the Weimar Republic began. New forms of entertainment followed by changes in cinema and music spread throughout Germany. Meanwhile, Hitler gathered up followers to the Nazi party and eventually rallied up at a beer hall. The event then became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. Hitler threatened to overthrow the current leadership of Germany, however, he was quickly stopped by the police. In prison, Hitler wrote down his plans and beliefs in his autobiography, Mein Kampf. He outlined the 11 strong steps necessary for a successful global Aryan domination. Hitler was determined to achieve racial superiority through rearmament, expansion, and nationalism instilled in most Germans. The Great Depression hit the U.S. due to a stock market crash, which then made the U.S. pull back all of its loans from Europe, which at the time was crucial in stabilizing the wartime debt that Great Britain, France, and Germany had from World War I. Hitler saw the events of the Great Depression as a way to seize power. The burning of the Reichstag was claimed to have been orchestrated by Hitler. At the time, Hitler pinned the blame on the communists, which should then give him an excuse to start deporting those who didn't agree with his fascist policies.
Hitler confident that he could break the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles without British and French opposition began a rearmament of the German military. The Anglo-German naval pact was a deal between Britain and Germany, creating as a method of appeasement for Germany. Britain said that Germany could have a navy up to 35% of the size of the British Navy. This violated the Treaty of Versailles in exchange for appeasement of Hitler. Hoping for a diplomatic revolution, Hitler started German rearmament in secret, but later announced his new air force, the Luftwaffe, and military to other nations. France, Great Britain, and Italy condemned Germany's actions, but nothing concrete was done. Hitler then first invaded the Rhineland in 1936. The Rhineland was a piece of Germany that had been taken from Germany for a lack of war payments. France and Britain condemned the act again, but did nothing to stop it. After British and French opposition to Italian invasion of Ethiopia and the Italian and German joint intervention in the Spanish Civil War, Mussolini and Hitler created an alliance called the Rhine-Berlin Axis. The British started a policy of appeasement based on the belief that if Germany was satisfied with reasonable demands, they would be content and another war would be prevented. Thus, Germany was able to take over Austria and Czechoslovakia relatively easy. Winston Churchill viewed appeasement as a way of giving the Germans the power they needed to start another war. He believed that the situation in Germany would quickly escalate the war, but he was largely influenced by his government. Hitler wanted to avoid fighting a two-front war, so he signed a non-aggression pact with Stalin in 1939. The treaty with the Soviet Union gave Hitler the freedom to attack Poland, and the Soviets joined them soon after. Expecting another war of attrition and economic blockade, France and Britain refused to go on the offensive. France had built a series of concrete and steel fortifications armed with heavy artillery called the Maginot Line along the border of Germany. The Germans went through Belgium and the Netherlands to attack France, but this was only a trick. The Germans' main assault was through Luxembourg and the Ardennes. The German panzer divisions outflanked the Maginot Line. Hitler devised a new fighting tactic to avoid the costly conquest of French warfare. His Blitzkrieg consisted of the new Air Force Luftwaffe and the use of tanks, mechanized infantry, and mobile artillery to rapidly defeat enemies. 350,000 British and French soldiers were attacking the beaches of Dunkirk following the German invasion of France. However, they were evacuated by a fleet of civilian ships. The French were not able to resist German attacks and surrendered. German armies occupied three fifths of France, known as Vichy France, and governed by an authoritarian regime. The Nazis decided to target Britain next. Using the Luftwaffe, the Nazis bombed key British industries. The British fought back but still suffered tremendous losses until Hitler changed his strategy. The British were able to rebuild the Air Force when Hitler targeted British cities to lower morale. The Royal Air Force was able to inflict major damage on Luftwaffe bombers and win the Battle of Britain. Hitler became convinced that Britain was only in the war because they expected Soviet support. Because of this and Hitler's hatred of Soviet communism, Hitler planned an invasion of the Soviet Union. However, his plans became delayed when he had to deal with Yugoslavia and Greece. Hitler wanted to take Stalingrad to lower Soviet morale. Both sides took severe losses and Hitler had announced German victory. But in fact, the Soviets had surrounded the German forces. Due to the arrival of winter, the Germans starved to death. The Japanese wanted control of all of East Asia, but American forces in the Philippines prevented their domination. To weaken the American Navy, the Japanese launched an attack on the American naval base at Pearl Harbor. This caused the United States to rally under nationalism and declare war on the Japanese. Days after, Hitler declared war on the United States, and the Grand Alliance was formed in order to restore order to Europe. In Asia, the turning point of the war was at the Battle of Midway. American planes destroyed all four attacking Japanese aircraft carriers and established American naval superiority in the Pacific. The Allied powers crossed the Mediterranean Sea from Tunisia and successfully took Sicily. From there, they began the invasion of mainland Italy, and a new Italian government formed after the rest of Mussolini surrendered. At the conference at TEHRAN, the Grand Alliance decided on an American-British invasion of Europe through France. The Allies also agreed to a partition of post-war Germany. The Allies managed to deceive the Germans into believing that they would invade on the flat plains of northern France. Instead, the Allies landed 5 assault divisions on the Normandy beaches, and although they lost many troops, they were able to break through the German defensive lines. The Allies moved south and east and were able to liberate Paris and advance further into Germany. Germany suffered terrible losses on the Eastern Front, but Hitler insisted on using his newly developed heavy tanks to take the offensive, but the Soviets soundly defeated the German forces at the Battle of Kursk, the greatest tank battle of the war. At the Yalta Conference, the Grand Alliance agreed on the liberated countries to hold free elections to determine their political systems, but it caused a rift between the Soviets and the Americans. German reparations and punishments were also discussed. The United Nations was a major American concern at Yalta, and the idea was accepted by both Churchill and Stalin. Germany was now surrounded on 3 fronts, with Britain and America in the south and west, and Russia in the east. Mussolini was caught in Italy and shot by Italian partisan forces. 2 days later, fearing execution, Hitler committed suicide in his Berlin bunker. Shortly after, Germany surrendered and the war in Europe was over. The Potsdam Conference began under a cloud of mistrust. American President Truman, knowing that the atomic bomb had been successfully tested, demanded free elections in Eastern Europe. The Soviets were still firm in their belief that free elections would not give them military security. Fearing both heavy American casualties and Soviet domination in the East, President Truman made the decision to drop an atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan surrendered, ending World War II in the Pacific theater. After the war, tensions were high between the USSR and the West. Winston Churchill declared that an Iron Curtain had descended the continent, dividing Germany and Europe into 2 hostile camps. Only months after the war, the world was once again bitterly divided.